Wolverines, I'm joined by Jimmy Dykes. Karl Ravech, North Carolina, Louisville just underway 3-3 in the ACC. Louisville, by virtue of their win over Syracuse, back on top of the conference. And they're playing a Carolina team that, as everybody at home knows, that follows Carolina, they've been beaten up all year. And today they're without Garrison Brooks. He's sick with a cold, and also not playing Justin Pierce.
And Ravi, as a result of that, the 5 guys on the floor for North Carolina to start the game have not played 1 second of basketball together prior to today's opening tip.
Right.
That is an amazing stat this late in the year.
There's a turnover, 2-on-1 here for Louisville. Give and let go, and Johnson turns it over. Louisville has been equally sloppy. Bumpy start for both.
You and I, however, very smooth.
I appreciate you saying that. I mean, because I know that the producers in our ear saying, what have you guys been doing for 4 minutes?
How about the win by Michigan prior to us? I love that Michigan team. I know they got some losses. I'm just telling you, when that bracket comes out, I've got my eyes on Michigan. That's a real team.
Like Michigan. How about the performance today by Kansas? Goes on the road, and they beat Baylor. But our story here, Karl Ravech, Jimmy Dykes, is going to be the ability of Carolina, who have lost so many close games, to make this a competitive game, given the injuries, given the illness, and really given the current talent of each roster.
Yeah, championship teams find ways to win, and losing teams find ways to lose. And that's exactly what North Carolina has done this year. It's amazing the way they've lost games, how creative they've been in losing games, and the number of games they've lost, Ravi, in those last 27 seconds. And the last 2 ball games, Virginia, Notre Dame, I did the game Monday. The game was right there, and it's a missed box off, a lack of a rotation on defensively, giving up a transition 3, multiple ways to create losses for North Carolina this year. And Roy Williams has pushed all the buttons and with a lot of success this year. On the flip side, this is a real team now. They can't lose today because they have a huge one Monday at Florida State. This team, Louisville, my eyes tell me, are good as anyone out there in terms of can they win the whole thing.
No doubt. There's a chance they end up on the 2 line. Could be a 1, could be a 3. A lot depends on the rest of this season and, of course, the ACC tournament, which you'll see on ESPN. Interesting start to our game here. You see the score 3-3. There have been 4 turnovers by Louisville, 3 by Carolina. We've had 8 field goals. How many of those have been 2-point field goals?
I'm not sure.
Take a wild guess.
0.
0.
Yeah,
You've had 8 field goal attempts, and all of them have been 3.
Did I even see one yet? Right. I saw some in warm-ups, and not a lot in warm-ups even.
Right.
I love the competitive spirit of that dude with the headband on. We'll get into him more, Cole Anthony. But this is a Louisville team that defensively are outstanding. They're going to corral and put this guy right there in a lot of crowded floor today when he has the ball in his hands. North Carolina has the highest scoring freshman in Cole Anthony, and a guy that can go for 25 or 30 on the road. If you're Louisville, you cannot let Cole Anthony come into the Yum Center and beat you today, because he is capable of doing it.
David Johnson has been inserted as the starting point guard for Louisville as you look at the Carolina resume coming in. And you tell me how sincere and how serious a statement like they are still Carolina at the end of the day, top 5 preseason. I understand that's how you motivate, stay focused, but this is not a top 5 team. In fact, it's a bottom 5 team as far as the conference goes. Is that what you have to do in order not to look past Carolina?
Well, I think there's always great value in beating the North Carolina brand, and this is not the typical North Carolina team. I said it on Monday night, outside of Cole Anthony and Garrison Brooks, no one else on this North Carolina team would be in the main rotation for a normal, good North Carolina team. But the value is still there, and Louisville with the chance to win the ACC standings.
Duke has Virginia Tech tonight at 8 Eastern, ESPN2. Florida State at NC State right now on the ACC network. And again, talk about that big game Monday between Louisville and Florida State. That's part of our big Monday. You'll see that 7 Eastern time on ESPN. A lot to be decided, but Louisville's got themselves back atop the ACC.
You mentioned Azubuike in Kansas today. I'm not sure he's going to get in that National Player of the Year race. I think he should. He's the National Player of the Day. That dude went down to Waco and put 23 and 19 on the board and only missed 2 shots. What a performance. What a load is Azubuike.
And I felt like 19 of the 23 were alley-oop dunks.
Yes. Man, that's a big boy game.
3 at the buzzer by Butler come up short. So the victory on the road for Kansas. Wara hits the first 2-pointer of the game.
I wasn't listening to you, but apparently Wara was, to take that 2.
Well, why would you start now to listen to me?
It's a 4-guard lineup for North Carolina. Just spread out, try to create some drives, some closeout for others. Let Baycott post up on the inside. The offense will be pretty simple today for Carolina.
Can't get over how slippery the floor is.
It is.
Two guys wipe out.
Yeah.
Ewing just slipped. Question for Carolina is going to be, where are the points going to come from, and are they able to prevent Louisville from getting offensive rebounds, given how undersized they are? We haven't even seen Stephen Enoch. Good hands. Great hands by Anthony. Pass, maybe a bounce pass there, Jimmy, might have helped a little bit.
His decision-making still has a lot of growth in front of him. But he is a beast with a lot of lift around the rim, a lot of lift into his jump shots. There's more things I love about this kid than I question. He can go anywhere right now in that draft from 3 to probably 10. But the fact that he came back, man, tells me a lot. I've had several scouts, Ravi, call me, had that same conversation about the value of a guy that has proven he loves to ball. And that's what he's done coming back off that injury.
Ryan McMahon stepped into the game, number 30 for Louisville. He has started a handful of games for the Cardinals. Or step back, looked good, but he comes up short. Both teams continue to struggle from the floor.
It is a good release, isn't it, from Wara? This is where he's in trouble.
Anthony, so strong.
Yeah, this is where he puts you in trouble.
Right.
He's coming at you in transition. If you don't crowd that paint and make him see 3 or 4 sets of eyes, he's going to get to the rim and win the collision that I always talk about.
Or a baseline reverse, pretty play. Jordan Wara, second leading scorer in the ACC. And Carolina tries to counter. And it works.
That's what I'm talking about right there. If you're Baycott, run the floor when you're in, establish early, deep post position, and keep the play simple.
Armando Baycott's first 2 of the game. Pretty dribble by Fresh Kimball. Williams 3. Bottom of the net.
Ravi, they can really shoot it, talking about Louisville. They can really shoot that basketball. 40% as a team, Ravi. Think about that.
And of course, the guy that shoots 27% knocked that one down. Baycott lost it in the paint. We're going to get a foul on the floor, and it's Williams who's on the floor.
Talked about the explosive punch that Cole Anthony brings that ball with. And when he gets momentum going to his right, he can go either hand. But to his right, man, that guy is phenomenal. And the play of Wara, you got to respect and make him put something on the floor. He's a 40% three-point shooter. Just another level that Wara has taken his game this year.
Stephen Enoch into the game now. We'll see him, and that is a big presence. You mentioned Azubuike, who is huge. Most people Stephen Enoch will stand next to and make them look small. Azubuike may be the one exception.
Wow,
Anthony all the way to the hole.
I'm telling you, he's got a lot of juice about his now. And Roy Williams has put him in a lot of ball screens, changed the offense this year out of necessity with a guy that can turn the corner and make plays like that.
Chris Mack, no mistake. What's the focus of the game defensively? Stop Cole Anthony. Stephen Enoch's first shot with his left hand, air ball. Anthony feeling it a little bit. Floater, no good, not close.
Now he's going to take 3 or 4 or 8 questionable shots a ball game, but you have to live with it this year if you're Roy Williams, because without his 25, 30 points on the road, you can't win the ball game.
Ryan McMahon knocks down a 3.
And you and I know who he was pointing to.
He's got his boys, his group, his homies, as he calls them, here, and there's a whole story behind that. But he pointed right to where they're sitting in that family section after knocking down that 3.
It's an empty side ball screen with Baycott and Leaky Black in a 2-man game. So that's a heavy gap physical defense that Louisville puts on.
Robinson off the window. And they'll reset.
They're going to corral Cole Anthony.
Boy, he just threw it to the inside instead of the outside. He had him open. Kimball, high archer. He had to throw it over the outstretched arm of Robinson. McMahon, no. I'm going to call that on the floor. It's either going to be on Black or Anthony, and it's going to be on Leaky Black.
Cole Anthony has great vision and great confidence in his vision as a passer or as an attacking guard. When he sees
Presented by 5 Hour Energy alongside Jimmy Dykes, Carl Ravitch, and this is the ACC on ESPN, Louisville and North Carolina. Talking about the Ryan McMahon story. You can see those 5 guys and the woman on the right. Explain that to us.
Well, those 5 guys are his best buddies, Ryan McMahon from high school back at Cardinal Mooney High School in Florida. And there was a 6th one that belonged in that group as well. His name was Gage Schrantz. He passed away on the July 4th of this past summer in a tragic accident. But those guys have had a group text going together since about the 8th or 9th grade. They have literally been best friends. They call each other the homies.
Yeah.
And that group text is still together right now, and Gage's phone number is still a part of it. Just those guys are as tight as you and I, and they're terrific friends, terrific buddies over a long time. And this was the day that all of them were supposed to come watch Ryan McMahon play, and there's an empty seat up there, and where Gage was supposed to be with him. And Ryan, when you talk to him, he tears up about it still today. Has a picture of a Gage in his locker in the Yum Center.
He said he was your best friend. He said he was my brother.
Yeah.
That was his girlfriend Rose up there as well with the 5. And as Jimmy said, the text chain still has that number on it. As McMahon was met at the rim, gets the ball back. How about Anthony's last shot, too? He's got 6 early points. He gets called for the foul with 4 seconds to go on Laura.
So I got up there with Ryan before the ball game.
This one's for you, Gage.
That's his guy. After he made that first 3-pointer, he pointed right up at heaven, and then he pointed at his buddies. And really an emotional weekend for Ryan McMahon.
He knocked 5 on the shot clock.
Good touch.
Cutting Johnson, then he stumbled. 2 seconds. 1. It will count. But it's off. No, they say no. I thought he got it off. Crowd did too. What did you think?
I thought he got it off. I'm with you. They go by the horn. They go by the listen first.
Andrew Platek into the game. Also into the game for Carolina. Walker Miller, seldom used, number 22, with the ball in his hands now. We'll expect to see sort of an offense that's not running very crisply. These guys don't play together. Long 3, no good. Platek with McMahon on him. An offensive rebound. Backs him in. And we're going to get Ryan McMahon with a foul on the floor.
Well, you see North Carolina just struggling to run offense and find offense. It's going to have to be a lot of Cole Anthony just going and making a play. Not so much the play calls of Roy Williams today, but can this kid just make play after play and keep North Carolina in this game? What's the dribble? What's the handoff?
And Louisville fights right through that. In fact, we saw a lot of that during the walkthrough today. David Johnson, 13, guarding Anthony. He's a good shooter. Miller throws it up, but then he takes steps beforehand. He did.
I mean, Miller's a kid that's, he plays 2 minutes a game in the 15 or 16 games that he's played in. But the lack of bodies today, 22 in Carolina Blues, going to have to come through and produce a little bit. He actually played in that loss to Duke, some major minutes down the stretch.
Wes Miller. Amazing listening to Roy Williams talk about Wes Miller and recounting he took one of the 4 greatest charges in program history. I've never heard somebody remember the greatest charges in program history, but that's what he said about Wes Miller.
He did. It was at Arizona. And Roy had a couple of guys sick that day, and Arizona was making a charge, and West got ran smooth over late in the ball game to kind of change the momentum. Who were the other? I started to ask, who were the other 3?
I was gonna, and I wasn't sure if he really knew that there were 4 of them, or it was just one of the greatest. I have a feeling he might.
Yeah, he's had a lot of thoughts in his mind this year. I bet he could still recall the top 3 charges of all time.
See how they do when Anthony goes to the bench. Jeremiah Francis, 13, will handle the ball. He sees a lane, goes right in, throws it up off the window, doesn't come close. Darius Perry into the game. A free throw line jumper goes down.
Good job by Darius Perry to take up the slack that the defense gave him. And he had about 10 feet of slack that he took up into a really well-shot elbow jumper.
Samuel Williamson, 10, also win the game for Louisville. Another slip on the court. Leaky Black's right foot gave out from underneath him.
It feels like a time for North Carolina. Just don't turn it over. You know, get a shot, give yourself a chance. Don't turn it over. And don't let a run occur with Cole Anthony on the bench.
Tonight, NBA Saturday primetime. The Bucks, the association's best record. They take on the Sixers, who have been under the microscope and the topic of talk shows, sports talk shows all season long. The Jump kicks things off 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific, ABC. You can watch both on the ESPN app from anywhere.
Joel Embiid with extreme confidence. The kind you have to have in that Fury Wilder fight tonight, right? Greatest in the world.
Is it founded confidence? Perry again, that's off to the right. And whoa, the offensive glass just out jumps Leaky Black.
Ravi, if Louisville is a serious national title contender, Jordan Nwora has to have Final Four fight at every possession. He does not always have it. If he does get it over the next 3 or 4 weeks, this team could win it all.
Anthony and Keeling getting set to come back in for Carolina. And they're reeling right now, down 6. And it feels like they could be down 16. Robinson, good kick. Playtech needed it.
What a great find by Leaky Black to attack the middle part of the floor, and Playtech to stay stuck out there on that far corner. Roy Williams has stayed in this ball game. He's gotten Cole Anthony some rest. Ready to check back in at the next dead ball.
Those their first points in about 3 minutes and 40 seconds. Yeah, a little NBA promo. How was your little NBA experience?
It was awesome. Just the size of the bodies and the spacing on the floor.
Do you consider yourself an NBA guy now?
I believe so. That's how I've been referred to a lot, as an NBA guy now.
Right.
I mean, once you've done one, you've done one.
Once you, and what do you think NBA, the acronym, stands for when you were doing it?
Need better announcers.
There you go.
That's my takeaway. No, that was phenomenal. I loved the NBA before that game. I fell in love with it even more. Just like this shot. Wow. Fall in love with it.
Nwora has got a lightning quick release, and he's got 9 points.
That's why he has value at that NBA level, man. A 6'7" guy that can really stroke it and can help space the floor. He has gravity ability. What do I mean by that? The defenses stay attracted to this guy, and the whole entire floor opens up. And Nwora active, fighting. He has to be a warrior if Louisville is a national title contender. Can he do this all day long? Yes, sir. Reed.
Need better announcers. Showdown when we have that epic split draw. And now Deontay Wilder's going to defend a title again for a record 11th time against Tyson Fury. 9 Eastern, 6 Pacific, MGM Grand. It is live on pay-per-view and ESPN Plus.
Fury weighed in at 6'9", 273 pounds.
Chisel.
You know, 2 of my all-time favorite sports memories. You mentioned Muhammad Ali. One is spending the night at Larry Bird's house one night.
What a great night that must have been.
That was a phenomenal night. The second favorite is watching the Final Four with Muhammad Ali in a suite in Indianapolis about 20 years ago. That's 1 and 2 right now in my just short-term memory. Great look backs on my life.
Right. And how about where the experience of just sort of spending a basketball season next to me, where would that fall?
In 78 to 82 range.
Okay, so top 100.
Well, that play by Cole Anthony, that last possession, he can go get it now.
Anthony's got 4 field goals. The rest of the team has 3. Anthony is keeping the team in the game. Three-pointer, it falls, and off the bench. A good performance from Darius Perry. He's got 5.
He has really shot the ball well. That time the gap defense couldn't recover in time, and Darius Perry shooting 40% on the year from 3. This team can they can jump shoot their way. Louisville, they can at least to Atlanta.
Playtech wide open. He knocks down a 3. Good penetration from Francis. He's on the floor with Cole Anthony, and he found him in the corner.
It feels like a game if you're North Carolina. Can you just keep it under 10 till we get to half? And, you know, you look up, only down 4 right now, but you just kind of feel like Louisville has an opportunity to push this thing out. That's too easy.
Too easy. Carolina went zone, and they found it. crease in it. Right behind Armando Bacot. Malik Williams laid it in. Two-headed monster Malik Williams, and then Stephen Enoch will replace him at center. Anthony
got him
through the foul.
He is really clever as a back-down point guard on that left side of the floor, because now he can be bouncing it with his right and looking at the traffic coming at him as he comes to the middle. And that time the defender got on the top side and he spun off of it, and he's so good at creating fouls. Ravi, he's drawn about 7.5 fouls per 40 minutes that he plays. He's just got a lot of just street ball, high IQ stuff about his game. When he steps between the lines, he is a ferocious competitor.
How many free throws have we seen today prior to that one?
None?
Take a guess. None. Just stick with 0 for every answer. He's moved ahead of Anthony Edwards. Those two have been outstanding this season as far as scoring goes. Vernon Carey of Duke, of course. Virginia Tech's Landers Nolly and Joe Pridgeon. Holy Cross.
Now, I mentioned that this kid coming back from injury, where a guy like James Wiseman at Memphis takes himself out of play this year. He was healthy, on the verge of getting ready to play again. And Wiseman, he will have to answer for that, I think, in those NBA interviews of why did you choose not to play. That would concern me if I'm a general manager or an NBA scout. I love the kid. I think he's got a lot of potential. But I would want to know the core of why did you walk away from your team.
Yeah, I think you saw an interview with Adrian Wojnarowski, which kind of started to answer those questions. You're right, he's going to be asked that a lot, but you can find that interview. That tough shot off the window by David Johnson. Anthony, tough pass. Bacot, 2 seed, depending on how the other tournaments break, and teams like San Diego State, what happens to them if they happen to stumble? Do they completely fall off that one line?
Gonzaga's got a tougher night at BYU. I saw them Thursday night. That is the best offensive team I've seen in a long time. I saw them in the Bahamas. They were terrific down there. And there was no let-up for Gonzaga offensively.
Wayne Sutton knocks down a 3. They got a 9-point lead, so 3 minutes to go, and Carolina's going to be very careful here to try to keep it single digits if they want to have a real chance in the second half.
You know, Louisville is a Final Four contender. I think it's tied to their defense getting better, and that's a big statement. They're number 36 in KenPom defensively. That number needs to continue to come down. I thought back in November, December, Ravi, they were as good defensively as I saw. They locked up Michigan in here one night, and they've got to get back to playing that just tough as nails every possession defensive play. That's
a great pass by McMahon to a cutting David Johnson, who gets hammered on the way to the hole. Really good bounce pass from Ryan McMahon.
Yeah, McMahon he's better with the ball than you realize. And, you know, 4 or 5 times a game, Louisville will get into some Princeton action, which is that backdoor cut, shin series around the elbows. And David Johnson's a really good cutter in terms of knowing when to cut for a true freshman. Most freshmen will cut it early because they're so wired to go get 2 points. Really good discipline by Johnson on the cut.
Johnson was one of those players, for those who know the game, you know, you have this kid, the freshman, and there's kind of this recognition like he probably should be starting. And it wasn't until the last game where he finally cracked that starting rotation, but there were a number of coaches who were kind of pushing for that to happen well before last game. His last 2 games, 15 assists, no turnover.
That's beautiful basketball. That injury obviously set him back, but he has changed this team, I think, with his fight, his toughness, and taking care of that dadgum ball.
Tough fadeaway, huh? How about Robinson? Very good shooter, Brandon Robinson.
And Ravi, that's just a guy making a play. There was no play ran there. It was just go make a play.
I think that's going to be kind of how this whole thing goes.
Yeah, it's going to have to be.
Back into that zone. Last time they were in this, Williams got open on the baseline like that, and he throws it down again.
Well, North Carolina's zone is not Syracuse's zone. It's not at that level. And Louisville picked Syracuse 2-3 zone apart by putting a passer at the ACC logo and making the face-up bounce pass, just like that play.
Not a good shot. And Carolina struggles from the floor. They're 9 of 23. Williams already has one, not now for the second, but three. Carolina Tar Heels went up for the rebound. And it's out of bounds off of Carolina.
Against that 2-3 zone, that ball goes to the middle. Hold it right there, guys. You're going to have to watch. Bring it to the middle. Go ahead and pass it. And right there, just find him, man. Find that guy right there. Get in the opening and let it rip. Bam, well done.
McMahon, wow. Good pass, Williams. That ball may have been partially blocked by Walker Miller. Play tech gave it Anthony, who gets it away. Not a good pass. Fresh Kimball lays it up and in.
How about the play by Kimball to go right into Leaky Black and make sure he got him on his back for the easy 6th grade layup. And there's our double-digit lead that we're afraid of.
And the crowd appreciates. They're on their feet. Anthony, tough shot, no good. Miller trying to keep it alive. And about a 6-second difference on the shot and game. And we'll get a timeout from Chris Mack. We're going to talk it over. We'll take a timeout. 30 seconds from now, we'll be back. Challenge Playtech and Cole Anthony during that timeout.
He's on new land. Roy Williams has never had a losing season. That's exactly what he's staring at right now. And he talked with us today, this morning, about it's continue to roll up your sleeves and go to work and expect nothing to be given to you. No one's feeling sorry for you. And he continues to hard coach his guys. And I love seeing that in that last timeout.
What's the play Chris Mack designed?
Well, War has been tremendous. So at some point he's involved in this play. Probably the role replace. He's the replace guy.
Tough shot, and it drops.
Gotta go.
How about that effort by Kimball? Anthony fired it up, and no foul called. And it ends up being a 13-point advantage for the Louisville Cardinals.
That last play design was for Wara as the replace guy
in the game. And Andrew Playtech had 6 for Carolina with a couple of threes. They are challenged again. No Garrison Brooks. They're missing 6'9", 230 pounds. And some experience. The junior is home sick. He's on the trip, but he's in the hotel room. Didn't come to the shoot around, didn't come to the game. And Carolina's been forced to play a lot of zone. And there's a steal. Bad pass from Fresh Kimball. And it results in a turnover, and then Louisville kicked it out of bounds.
That play almost summed up North Carolina's season.
For a second.
a layup that results in almost a kickball out of bounds. But every game, it seems like the first 3 or 4 minutes of the second half. But for this one, for North Carolina, they've got to do something really good these first couple of minutes.
This is Anthony. He goes baseline, kicks it, Keeling. 2 no good, and the rebound and a foul.
Another wide open missed shot. And if you go back and grade every North Carolina game film this year, that's going to be a huge number. Time and time again, guys taking an uncontested shot and the ball not finding the bottom of the net.
Brandon Robinson, his second. Carolina shoots 41% from the field this season. They are shooting 34% today. Again, Johnson, for those that follow Louisville basketball, know he has been inserted into the starting lineup as Wara missed that in reverse. And they really believe he's going to stay there for as long as he's wearing a Louisville uniform. That's a pretty spin move, but the shot missed again, and they are now 9 of 27 from the floor.
And that spin move into a shot for Baycott this year is, he may have made 12% of them on the year. That's about it.
And I understand the criticism because the shots don't fall, but boy, he did set himself up for an easy shot.
Yeah, the footwork was good. Man, the 2 and 3 footers have got to go down. I love his, I like his voice, Baycott. I like his energy. I like his try level.
Look out, he vacated that lane. He went out to chase Johnson at the top, and that left a wide open lane and an easy flush for David Johnson. You could read Johnson's eyes. As soon as he saw Baycott vacate, boom, I'm gone. Like when I generally stop talking, you're like, boom, I'm in.
I'm in. Well, those gaps are really protected by Louisville defensively, setting hard on those elbows.
Way off and not a good shot. And a lot of one-on-one offense for Carolina right now. Lead grows to 15. Malik Williams just ran out of space. Healing from behind, had it, lost it, turnover. We've heard Roy Williams talk about the lack of overall talent on this team, and today's a real good example of the lack of depth and perhaps where this talent level is relative to what you're used to with Carolina.
Well, he has a phenomenal class, Roy Williams does, coming in next year. Not going to help him this afternoon. That right there is that fight and purpose that I want to see out of Wara, other than just spotting up, shooting jump shots.
He was the one that missed that flush,
but man, he went.
Kept it alive.
This last play, there's what you're talking about right there, man. There's Baycott. He comes out here defensively, and as a result, man, that drive is wide open, and it looked like Cole Anthony was expecting some help. He was trying to ice the ball down the side, and just no help protection at all. Cole Anthony, you can tell, just really trying to influence the ball downhill, expecting Baycott probably to be setting in that gap. Louisville just sprints Baycott out of the help position, an easy 2 points.
It was Wayne Sutton. I think I misspoke. I thought that I had said it was David Johnson, but it was Sutton with the layup. Here he goes again, and he loses it out of bounds. Spin to win usually, but we're spinning to lose right now.
I'm not a fan of spinners.
What about the Spinners, the musical group?
They were phenomenal.
Of course.
Yeah. The Temptations, the Platters, all that stuff.
That's your guys.
I'll tell you, I saw John Stockton Thursday in Spokane at lunch.
Do you want me to stop you if I've heard the story, or should I just let you go?
It was phenomenal to be in the same room with John Stockton for about 45 minutes.
Good take by Wara. So Larry Bird's house one night, Muhammad Ali in a box, and now a
lunch
game
with John Stockton might be, that's probably top 3 right there.
Yeah.
Just reflecting on being in the presence of greatness. Bird, Muhammad Ali, and John Stockton.
Few could do it as great as John Stockton did.
Gosh, Rav, he was ahead of the ball screen operation as a point guard way before anyone else was. Saw the game at different angles. A humble star, and he still is today.
Baycott misses a 17-point game. It's starting to really get away. Sutton will kick. Nice pass. And that's Wara on the offensive glass again. A lot more energy and effort from Louisville here in the second half. They had a team meeting. They had a coaches meeting. And they said we need some energy, we need some urgency, and we need to do it on both sides of the ball. We're seeing that here in the second half.
And Chris Mack had a get your butt on the bench moment as well with Wara, and took him out of the starting lineup, and Wara responded. Again, will Wara fight like a Chris Mack dude is supposed to fight? And Chris Mack is not going to sell for anything other than that level, nor should he.
1 or 2 free throws, substitutes Playtech. A couple of threes in the first half, into the game. Also into the game, Walker Miller for Carolina, 22.
Well, this is, if Cole Anthony can ever take a game over, he needs to do it right now, man.
Kicks it, Keeling, 3, way too long. Playtech on the offensive glass, now double teamed.
Boy, the assist that Cole Anthony would have this year if he was on a team that had some shooters. Because he delivers that ball now.
Leaky Black shot, no good. And they could go up 20 or 21 if that one goes from Wara, and he buries it.
He is a special talent, 33 in white, offensively. With that body and that release, he shoots it with ease. Talking about Jordan Wara. With ease from deep.
All Cardinals.
Empty corner ball screen for Cole Anthony. He loves to attack it.
Playtech went to get it wisely. Here's another open shot for Carolina, and they can't get it to go.
see?
Keeling and Williams fighting for the ball. Keeling didn't want to let it go. You look at Malik Williams, 6'11", 245, and the effort from Keeling, who is giving up about 8 inches in that battle.
And that's just neither guy willing to let go of the ball after the whistle, and I'm not sure how you can do anything other than make the call and let's play again. No, there's nothing there.
Wore a tough shot, knocks it down, and he is feeling it. Jordan Wara, 18.
We are seeing the version of Jordan Wara that Chris Mack has to have if they're going to be a title contender. Now, I'm not even talking about, I've seen his voice good on defensively, but his shot today is to perfection, and you build your shot, Ravi, from the ground up. A couple of possessions ago, Jordan Wara, as a pass is coming to him, his feet are going towards the passer, which is perfect. Now watch his foot discipline. After the catch, the footwork, boom, now the feet are lined up at the rim. He has tremendous feet, which sets up a beautiful release of the basketball. He does not have lazy feet in or out of his shot. And that last couple of possessions, we've seen it to perfection.
Christian Keeling completes a three-point play for Carolina, 18.7 of 12. He's 3 of 6 from three-point land. And he's already got a double-double, 10 rebounds. I imagine that Coach Mack will point to that bottom line and say, you got 10 rebounds,
Absolutely.
son. That's perfect. That's what we need.
Yeah, we know you can shoot the ball. And what Chris Mack is concerned about is the dirty parts of the game, the grimy parts of the game. That's who Chris Mack is. I know his club is making 40% from 3, but at his core and at his guys' core is how tough and how many dirty plays a game will you make.
McMahon, yes, left hand. Oh, he almost made that.
And his boys up there in the stands, they see it and they like it.
He drew the foul, threw it up with that left hand, and just drew the front of the iron. A little more arc. This may have gone in.
He is so crafty. Look at that. That's
online.
That's darn close. This is as automatic as we have in the game right here. Weren't with us in the first half. Those are his buddies up top. And they refer to each other as homies. They've been best friends since like the 8th, 9th grade through their time together in high school in Florida. And one of those 8 was in a tragic accident this summer and died, Gage Schrantz. They were all supposed to be here today for the first time since high school to watch Ryan McMahon play in his senior year. And an emotional weekend for number 30 in white. A beautiful kid. I love spending time with Ryan McMahon.
After he made his first 3 of the game, he pointed to the crowd, and one of our camera people suggested when he went over to the bench too, he may have had a tear or two in his eyes. He said he lost his brother back on July 4th. 50-26, kind of where you thought this game would be given the injuries and the difference in talent level, plus the way they've been playing lately. Carolina has been bludgeoned by losing last-second shot games, and Louisville is coming off perhaps its best win of the year, or at least one they needed the most against Syracuse. McMahon will fire a 3 and draw air.
Louisville sitting there as the number 11 team in the country. They're on the verge of being a 2 seed right now. Kind of depends on how you read their resume. Their game Monday night at Tallahassee, man, how impactful will that be on the bracket? That could very well be for who's going to slide up to a 2 seed and who drops to a 3 between Louisville and Florida State on Monday.
Saw Florida State early this year, standard Leonard Hamilton team, and even back then they were banged up a little bit. Came up with a very big win. They're deep. He plays 10, 11 guys. They play physical. This is currently Joe Lenardi's bracketology as far as the first and second lines go, 1 and 2 seeds. Got Duke in the ACC ahead of all the other ACC teams. You didn't see it earlier today. Kansas went into Baylor, and Udoka Azubuike put on a show. They get the win on the road, knock off Baylor.
I just question why we don't hear Udoka Azubuike's name in the National Player of the Year. He looks different than anybody else in college ball. I love Luka Garza. I love Peyton Pritchard, Miles Powell. But that guy is shooting 75% from the floor for the #1 team in the country.
And really carried his team there.
Yes, just changes the game, does Big Dope, on both ends of the floor.
Samuel Williamson with a floater in the lane.
Roy Williams has 4 McDonald's All-Americans coming in next year, 5 in the top 100. Baycott will most likely, he will be back. He will not go anywhere. He's got to get better. Just a talent drop this year that no one could see coming for North Carolina.
Cole Anthony's dad Greg, this past week, I think, was kind of quoted as saying, we haven't really made a decision on whether we're coming back or going to the NBA, but I would imagine most people would take he's going to the NBA.
From what I know about Cole Anthony, his dad maybe he'll go beyond it.
Wow.
I think they'll go beyond it. I think the East is manageable enough for those guys to go through there and get to 72, 73. Huge game, right? Between the Bucks and 76ers tonight.
It certainly is for the Sixers. Like every game is big.
It is. Fury and Wilder are going to go at it.
Ravage and Dykes are going to have their moment. Ricky Black at the buzzer on the shot clock, knocks it down. They'll take a look at it. They counted it as a 3. But they'll look at it. They put 2 on the board.
Ravi Ward today with 11 boards in this game. 18 points and 11 boards.
Woo! Look out. Sam, I thought had a lane to the hoop and instead went to pass it. I just got the baseball box scores from Louisville. The last 2 days they played Valparaiso.
How have they done?
Dan McDonald sent these with a smiley face. Yesterday, Reed Detmers, their starting pitcher, one of the best pitchers in the country, 6 innings, struck out 14. All told, they struck out 22 batters. Today, they come back. Bobby Miller, the starter, strikes out 12. They end up with 18. So in 2 games, the Louisville Cardinals, one of the top teams in the country, struck out 40 batters.
They struck out 22 today?
Yesterday, 22, 18 more today.
22 strikeouts, so 22 outs out of the 27.
You got it.
Hey, you were, I'm not just saying this because you're beside me, you were phenomenal on Sunday. Was it Sunday or Monday with the commissioner of Major League Baseball?
Sunday, you saw that.
Sunday, you were phenomenal. You asked tough questions like you asked me on the air. I was afraid you might back off a little bit. You asked tough questions. You came back with follow-up questions. I could tell the commissioner had a tremendous amount of respect for you. First of all, to agree to sit down with you and trust you, but then for you to ask the hard questions and didn't get popular answers at times. I thought you were tremendous.
Very nice. Thank you very much. I have great respect for him and the job he does and the difficult position he's in right now. Has not been a great week for the commissioner.
How about all the Little League teams dropping the name of Astros?
That's part of the punishment. As a lot of people say never happened. That's part of the punishment. Corner, no. Rebound, Williamson blocked by Baycott.
Good quick second jump by Baycott.
Boy, Carolina has dribbled themselves into a handful of turnovers today. Why is that?
Because Louisville is corralling Cole Anthony. What do I mean by that? They have the primary defender on him and a second and sometimes third defender corralling him, making him play in a crowd. It's really pretty special how he continues to find gaps playing on an extremely crowded floor every time that he steps on it.
There's Anthony Darius Perry blue attire, so he's putting that back on.
That headband is covering up that gash that he took against Virginia late in that game, and they glued it back, and he came right back out on the court. And the great NBA scouts, Ravi, they live in the weeds, and they find that one play in a year that maybe other teams might overlook. To me, that may have been it for him to take that type of a gash and come right back in the game and get on the defensive glass. That told me a lot about the kid. You ever lived in the weeds, Ravi?
Oh, yeah. Yes, sir. Brandon Huffman, 42, is into the game. You can find a lot of things in the weeds. Good reverse from Malik Williams.
That 1-2 punch of Williams and Enoch now. They can hold up with any size in college basketball.
Good cut by Playtech. That brings Roy Williams off the bench to say, see, that's what we're looking for.
The injury I'm talking about, he takes a hard hit and lays there with a bloodied upper right eye and goes off. They glue it back together. He comes right back in the game. And the very first possession he's in the game, he goes right back into the same traffic and fights for a defensive board.
You know, I don't know if you saw that live, but when he hit the floor after getting injured, he sort of yelled like, why am I getting hurt so much?
Yep. You had a similar response today, right before we went on the air.
Why am I back here with you again? How do we get into this situation?
I heard a racket and a tumble and a...
Yeah, I survived that. That's all part of growing up sometimes in the weeds. You got to learn to deal with adversity.
Boy, Louisville, they are heavy on that gap protection. They are physical.
Black no good. Pike Tech went to slap it out. They got numbers 4 on 2. And a kick. Williamson to the hole. Boy, Baycott looked like he went just straight up, but they get the foul on number 5 in blue.
Chris Mack's guys right now, Ravi, coming into today, the number 12 offensive efficiency team in the country. That's a terrific number. That's a Final Four number. The defensive efficiency was 36, I think, when the game started. Tracking it live, I think they're at 33 right now, so that based upon what other teams have done. But that number needs to continue to come down, the defensive efficiency number. Now, I mentioned it earlier. When I watched Louisville in November and December, I thought they were one of the 2 or 3 best defensive teams in the country, and they still have the chops to get back to that level.
Williamson knocks that free throw down. Laura back in. He's the leading scorer. McMahon also onto the floor. Look forward to Big Monday. That's going to be a good game. Louisville, Florida State.
About the game after us, Florida at Kentucky.
Interesting.
Yeah, they're up 2 over everybody in that SEC race. And Florida's got the, I think they have the belief back in them right now. I just know that Florida, Kentucky team, you saw them on Tuesday.
And Higgins took a real knee to the quad, looked like a bad Charlie horse. And in a weird circumstance, Anthony buries a 3. Nick Richards dunked the ball and landed on the ball. And that had disaster written all over it. Thankfully, he was able to shake it off. But my gosh, the people that we were with, I'd never seen that before. It was an unguarded dunk.
And so he dunked it so hard, the ball
just kind of went on the ground, and he landed on
the ball.
Yeah.
I've never done that.
Dunked?
Yes. Or had the opportunity to land on the ball. It's interesting seeing Gonzaga Thursday night. Fran Fraschilla and I did the game together. Look at this guy. He just got
threes for Anthony.
He just got some stuff about him, man. I know his percentage isn't great, but he's got that belief and that confidence and that swagger that I love the kid. I don't know where he's going to go in the draft. I just believe in him because of his fight, his toughness, his willingness to play through losses. I think he's an engaging teammate. He talks with his guys. He touches his guys with his body and his voice. A lot of the intangibles he has.
McMahon's 3. That's short. An offensive rebound. Williams. And a tough shot rolls all the way around and out. See if they get it to Anthony. He's got his hands up. He wants it again. 3 in a row. No one on him, and he'll launch. Look out, McMahon. Jimmy has eyes like a hawk. What do you see there, Jimmy?
I think it's a 3. I see white between the black mark and the blue tennis shoe. The white part of Leakey's sneaker, to me. If they called it a 3, I think they stay with a 3.
All right, well, let's see what Hawkeye says. Yeah, it's a 2. Good call there, Jimmy. Stay hot.
What in the world? That was a 3.
Hot.
That was a 3. Speaking of hot, Devin Vassell, man, that's a sniper.
Oh, he is.
They got a couple of first-round dudes, man. He and Patrick Williams. So look at the ACC potential first-round guys. Cole Anthony, Vernon Carey, Vassell and Williams from Florida State, Trey Jones. This league had 13 draft picks last year.
But we do the SEC often here. The ACC, you're looking at 4 or 5 teams, but there's still some flexibility. I know Lenardi, basically between the first 4 out and the next 4 out, he has 4 SEC teams. You could have between 4 and 8 teams if everything were to go the way of those teams. Williams out of the break.
You know, and the number in this league could grow as well.
Yes.
I'm a firm believer in this. If you can't finish 500 in your conference play, you're automatically not in the NCAA tournament unless you can win your conference tournament. I think that would free up every year 2 or 3 teams like East Tennessee State or a firm, somebody like that doesn't win their conference tournament at mid-major level. I just think if you can't go 500 in your league, then you're on the NIT bus as opposed to the NCAA jet. And Joe Lenardi had a great article backing that up earlier this week.
I think the country's collective ears just perked up when I heard the term jet. Do you think it's coming out soon?
Well, we're at the point of the game now where it's time spent viewing, and keeping the viewers involved,
and
they will stay involved.
Notoriously does that
until the jet takes off.
It's like a ratings magnet.
The ACC version of the jet, and then it was National Pet Day earlier this week. There will be a guest appearance of my dog Eli and your dog Lila.
Look at you, you're like a tease machine, like keeping the audience glued to the TV. Hold on, they just lifted the garage door, and here comes the jet. that guy.
This is the ACC version of the jet right now. Duke and I have Florida State up there in first class as 2 seeds. I know they kind of bumped their way up to the first row. Louisville could move right up there if they win Monday night in Tallahassee. And at the back of the plane right now, Virginia, who I think is going to stay right there solidly in coach, and NC State, where they win earlier this week against Duke, has them for now on the jet, but hung up in security. Like you got too many liquids in your bag. You didn't take your laptop out. You walked through with your shoes on. Notre Dame, Syracuse, and Clemson. They're still hanging around, just trying to fight their way on that standby list. I don't even have them there right now. But Notre Dame, Syracuse, Clemson. Get to 500 in this league, and then we'll talk. That's kind of it's my jet, and that's where I draw my line.
Do you wear shoes on all the planes? You take your shoes off on an airplane?
Well, they haven't been TSA pre-checked.
But when you're on the plane, are you a leave your shoe on guy?
Absolutely, yes. I was on the plane for 15 hours getting to Spokane the other day. Yeah. Shoes on the entire time.
And the other folks on the planes were delighted you chose to go that route.
Bully ball, right? I love this kid.
It's a big body, isn't it?
Yeah, that's it. Man, that's not Anthony Edwards' body, but it's dang close now.
6'5", 210, David Johnson, the freshman. He doesn't look like a freshman.
He came in about 20 pounds heavier, right? Isn't that what Chris Mack told us? Started off as a middle linebacker and got him now down to an outside linebacker. But he has a tremendous future. 13 in white. And you said it earlier. The last 2 ball games, 15 assists and no turnovers. And you look at him today.
5 assists. We're not going to mention 3 turnovers.
3 turnovers.
Warren looked like he was going to get it and shoot it. Instead, he drives. And that's blocked. Anthony's ahead. And Leaky Black lays it up and in.
Leaky Black had no intention of ever giving that ball up. None. None. Look over at Roy Williams and just listen talk today about the hours and hours of film and making notes. And
where's Johnson going there? That wasn't a good decision. Neither was that pass to Cole Anthony. Bad pass from Baycott. And that's about the 5th or 6th time on a perceived break where you think there'd be a layup for Carolina. They turn it over.
North Carolina has found every possible way to win ball games this year at the end of the game and within the game. Just a bad turnover, but careless transition defense at Notre Dame cost them dearly. A missed box out against Virginia and Notre Dame cost them the game at the buzzer.
Williams, nice left-handed hook shot in the lane.
How big was that first step, though, man? To get him from outside the lane to the other side of the rim. Tremendous.
6'11" junior out of Fort Wayne, Indiana. Healing 3. It looked good, and it is. Say this, for a team that is 10-16 and 9 under in the conference, even down this many, not like they just said, you know what, game over, we're done here. They're fighting.
We saw a lot of joy in North Carolina today when they came in the building. And we saw that joy from Roy Williams with his guys, which, man, it's a real test now. When you're going through adversity, how you continue to coach, how you continue to talk, interact, treat people. And I love the vibe of North Carolina. I know they're going to lose the game and lose games going forward, but I do like the vibe that I saw from them in South Bend and what I've seen from them today. How you handle adversity. Did I write a chapter on that in a book, by the way?
What chapter is that? Adversity? Louisville Cardinal team that went to the NCAA Final Four. You saw Aaron Johnson, Elvis Miles, Larry O'Bannon, David Padgett was there, Lorenzo Wade, Otis George. They lost to the Illini. North Carolina, the national champ that year, 4th time. They beat Illinois 75-70, and that was the first national title for Roy Williams. Under 3 to go. Louisville is going to improve to 23-5 and their best conference start, 14-3. There's the follow flush, Malik Williams. Leaky Black had nowhere to go, and McMahon stepped in front and picked it off. We got mass substitutions coming in. The Dogs, he quickly texted Dog Gummit to play off of Roy Williams' Dadgummit. That's brilliant. I mean, that's brilliant for a guy that has been spending more time in planes and watching more games. I call him the juggler. He could be a globetrotter. He's juggling so many different roles and responsibilities and assignments and does unbelievable work and still comes up with Dog Gummit. And where were you on Dog Gummit?
And Louisville gives up a doggone back cut.
Really? You're going to focus on that in a 16-point game in 90 seconds?
Well, the game
really
is kind of telling us that.
Really?
Louisville has been dogs on defense today. A little more wiping, snapping at people.
A little more bark than bite.
Yes, a lot of that. Yeah. They played well off of 2 paws. They haven't charged people. They got in the lane. Good hard jump stop off of 2 paws.
Chris Mack giving the crowd here some treats, you know, little doggy treats. They empty their bench.
I can't believe Eli is praying for me right now back home in Arkansas. That was a live shot, by the way, too.
Was that prayer, or was Eli just like, I'm not watching?
He's seen enough.
I've heard and seen enough.
He's heard enough. That's what that was. Trying to bury his ears.
Please make it stop.
Hey, I know we're at ACC. SEC coming up after us.
Yeah.
Kentucky, Florida. Who's the SEC Player of the Year? I thought Nick Richards was going to run away with it. You know who's creeping up behind him right now? Emmanuel Quickly is right there, snapping at his heels.
I hear what you did there with the dog reference, yeah. Reggie Perry's been the lead dog at Mississippi State. He certainly gets a little consideration.
They lost again today. He's out of the dog race. He's out of the dog race, the Bulldogs.
Put him in his crate then for a while. Wilder Fury tonight, 76ers and Bucks, Houston's first spring training game. That, of course, means the Astros are going to be batter's box for the first time. Sports Center will be on the Pac-12 hoops, and what a shot. The crowd wanted that to count. Oregon, Arizona tonight, and Nabil and Zubin will have Sports Center.
That's inside the restricted arc.
Yes, it was. Crowd here.
What in the world?
They saw that. They knew it.
Wilder Fury will be a dog fight, won't it?
Yeah, it's a doggy-dog world.
Well, Louisville did. Oh, watch out. Yeah, Louisville did what they're supposed to do today.
And a huge game Monday at 7 on ESPN in Florida State. And these Louisville Cardinals. At some point, you do actually have to blow the whistle. There were a lot of fouls that were kind of being let go here, given the score of the game and the amount of time left. But as they like to say, every dog will have his day. So we'll have some free throws.
That's oh my word. You know, Mora had a lot of freedom today offensively, was not on a leash.
Right.
18 points, 7 out of 15. I love the 11 boards. And the bite that he brought to the game today.
Okay, it wasn't just a dog walk in the park for him.
It was not.
Showed some effort.
And
you don't need to hit me with your elbow every time you make a dog reference. I hear what you're saying. I get it. And the people at home are so delighted it's over.
Wara, the N is silent, and Louisville was Final Four tough today. Can they keep it going? Your turn to talk.